Welcome to Delivering Experience once again with Umair Khan. So many times this conversation has come up, and lately I've been reading a lot. The Agile is dead, and the conversation moves over to what are Agile coaches doing, or why are Agile coaches failing? Why is Agile failing? So I thought, why not just talk about this briefly? Uh, Agile coaches failing. Two big reasons that Agile coaches fail in any organization, based on my experience of working with organizational agility, customer experience, helping teams plan, execute, and deliver value to different internal and external stakeholders. Just thought I'm in a good space to be able to present at least what I have seen to be two massive reasons why Agile coaches fail. So let's get to it right away. Two reasons have to do a lot with management and Agile coaches themselves. So let's talk about management first. In so many organizations, you will see management being scared that because of different principles and practices, status quo is going to change. Agile coaches are going to challenge the status quo and the fact that that is a bad thing. Now, Agile coaches, by design, Scrum masters, Agile practitioners, Agile professionals, by design, are trained to challenge status quo. And this does not sit well with a lot of management folks that I work with. One managing director I work with in banking sector, there was a conversation around velocity and capacity and taking in work according to the bandwidth of the teams. And that individual said, well, no. You do not need to tell me velocity or capacity. I just need to get this job done. I don't care how long it takes. I don't have the money, extra money. We're already a year behind schedule. We're already $500,000 over budget. I just need to get this done. Do not talk velocity, capacity with me. So, status quo, fear that Agile coaches are going to change or challenge status quo. Management not realizing, and it is those folks in management positions, in leadership positions, who have absolutely no idea, or even if they understand Agile, they really don't understand the practical execution and the rationale behind true agility. It is not to only move fast for the sake of moving fast. The fact of the matter is, you've got to slow down to be able to gather speed and then move fast. So, another thing that goes into this mix when Agile coaches apparently are going to challenge status quo, which they will, because they will want to have discussions. They will want to disagree with what have been established practices in the organization. So there are going to be questions that are going to be asked as to why do we do this? So what is the rationale? What is the value that this practice brings? And how if we change this or update this? So that fear of change, that fear of challenge really does not let a lot of management folks be flexible when it comes to change. And that fear keeps organizational culture glued to what it is. So, management fearing that Agile coaches will challenge status quo, not realizing that it is something that needs to be done, needs to be facilitated, needs to be embraced in the right spirit. Now, if we look on the flip side, Agile coaches, why Agile coaches fail because of Agile coaches, and I've seen this a lot. Agile coaches fail because of those Agile coaches, those Agile practitioners, Scrum masters, Agile delivery managers, even if that is a title, which I've seen it to be a title, because of those individuals who have only taken a few classes, few certifications, have completed a few PDUs from different institutes, different organizations, and now they have a piece of paper that allows them to tell everyone, hey, I'm an Agile coach or I'm a coach, not realizing that there's so much more that goes into making of an Agile coach that has to do with experience, that has to do with getting those hours, those flying hours, those hours behind the wheel, trying to understand the situation, getting your hands dirty in situations, in escalations, in dependency fiascos, in risk mitigation strategies, in creating those plans, following those plans failing, and then having to pivot and then coming up with a brand new plan, but the clock is still ticking. So those agile coaches are absolutely clueless when it comes to real life situations, organization to organization, even within the same organization, to different subsets, even within the same train, two different teams facing same challenge, but they have to respond different ways because of the inherent limitations, inherent skill set, inherent experience level of those two teams, two scrum masters, two product owners. So you've got to be very smart in terms of presence of mind, situational analysis, problem analysis, and then being solution oriented from the standpoint of what are the symptoms and are the root causes that are driving these symptoms on screen? Are those root causes the same? Because chances are those root causes may not be the same. And you won't know unless and until you're going to be asking those questions, which may even be a different set of questions for both the teams. You're not going to have any clue unless you've been there, done that. And that is a problem with Agile coaches or Agile practitioners who only are there because of their certifications without any concrete substantive experience, giving weight to what they say. Because credibility comes with track record. Confidence comes from credibility, knowing that what I'm doing or what I'm recommending or suggesting, I've done this before. People can feel confidence. People can smell fear in your voice. And that imposter syndrome, it does not go too far. People will catch you. So if people won't catch you, well, you're going to make sure that you run an organization into the ground and then you're going to move over to the next organization. So, yes, Agile coaches fail because of Agile coaches who only have certifications or PDUs or education hours to show against their name, as opposed to having a good mix of experience and education, or even just experience. Education, even if they don't have that education, they've actually done the hard yards. They've paid their dues. They have gotten their hands dirty, and they can rely on their experience, their years that they have worked with different individuals. At the end of the day, as I tell this to everyone, this is a people's job. So yes, Agile coaches fail because of Agile coaches. Now, let's move back to management. One big factor Agile coaches fail is because, kind of linking it to the first thing, challenging status quo, which management does not like. A big reason for that is that management does not appreciate short-term losses, even if those short-term losses mean that in the long run, organization is going to correct course. They are going to identify symptom. They are going to peel back those layers and single out or maybe multiple root causes. And then you can actually look at those root causes. What is the actual problem? Find out the solutions to those, maybe translate those solutions into behaviors, which actually is another workshop that I do called the outcome-driven leadership. So coming back, translate those solutions into behaviors, and then look at the trend, look at the pattern as to how long it's going to take us to be able to get back on track after this temporary dip in performance, because now it is about course correction. Now it is about implementing the correct behaviors, the right behaviors that are going to help the organization move in the right direction. And so many times that delivery gap, that delta of delivery scares the life out of management. People do get scared. Another thing I've seen is maybe the top tier management, they have their directions going down to the frontline managers, but by the time that information is cascaded down to the frontline managers, that information is so diluted. Plus, the ground realities take over that frontline management is just scared to implement that direction. So yes, short-term losses really do not allow management to have that buy-in for what Agile coaches are recommending or suggesting or even presenting as case studies or presenting as pilot examples or pilot projects that they have executed with different teams or gotten those results. But because we are so hell-bent upon not missing a sprint or two sprints or even a PI to get back on track, to start doing things the right way or doing the right things the right way, because we want to look at long term. We want to look beyond the obvious. So a big factor, short-term losses are not embraced by management because of so many things at play. And then second aspect of why Agile coaches facilitate their own failure is because they fail to see the big picture landscape. I have seen this happen. They are so involved in the situation at hand, so tunnel visioned at that one problem that, which does come from lack of experience, that they fail to look at the big picture. They fail to draw from their previous experiences. They fail to draw from experience of maybe same situation in another organization and apply that, looking at the big picture, which causes them to just focus on one or two aspects of that symptom or root cause and not having an open mind. Agile coaches absolutely want to be flexible in terms of the kind of solution you want to propose. The solution may not be perfect or ideal in terms of what Agile Manifesto suggests, Scrum Guide suggests, or all the frameworks may have lined out, may have set up in their outlines. But if that recommendation, if that solution gets the job done, then that needs to be presented as an alternative, as an option, so that we can have success. And then we can draw upon it later for retrospective purposes that, okay, now let's take a look at the solution that we utilized. What was good about it? What was not good about it? What can we improve if and when we utilize this again? So failing to see the big picture and being tunnel visioned and not being creative enough, not being flexible enough, just sticking, again, going back to education, just sticking to only the PDUs and education and not being able to drawing on their experience. So just a few big reasons, major factors that contribute towards Agile coaches failing in an organization, or why people don't listen to Agile coaches because management does not want to listen to Agile coaches. Hence, Agile coaches fail. Just to recap, management does not want status quo challenged. Agile coaches that are only there because of their education, lacking substantial experience in terms of being been there, done that. And then organization only focusing on short-term losses and not seeing the big picture in terms of the benefits that the organization will derive from having those short-term losses because of the behavioral changes that will impact the culture of an organization. Very important. The culture of an organization. That can only be impacted top down. Very seldom you're going to see culture change bottom up. That's another conversation for another episode, maybe. And then, of course, Agile coaches not being flexible enough to see the big picture and to see that maybe the solution that is needed, the fix that is needed for the problem at hand, is not going to come from the toolkit that I have of 10 solutions. I'm going to have to maybe combine 10% of these 10 solutions and then come up with a solution. How does your organization treat Agile coaches? I'm curious to know. Is there an instance where you have observed Agile coaches failing? What contributed towards that? Please do share in the comments because I am very curious to know. This was today's session. Just thought I'd share this in light of my recent observations, speaking with different Agile coaches and members of management in context of Agile practices, principles, behaviors, and suggestions. Do subscribe, like, and comment, and do let me know if there's something that you'd want me to cover in upcoming episodes. Till next, take good care. Good night.